Alright guys, so I apologize for that issue that we've been having. Believe it or not, this is the second time I've got to explain this because I've had an issue when I was trying to re-explain this again. So anyway, we apologize for that. We left off with our Dracula painting, and we were actually down here with as adding some texture through overlay. And you can tell here with overlay that it's very just kind of lightly put on there. It's only 28%, and it's just to give this kind of texture to the skin and to the face and stuff, and just to give a little bit less of a digital feel. Next thing I do is an overlay layer again, very light, almost not totally visible, but if it was a normal layer, and if it was 100%, it would look like this. But I make it an overlay layer and just get some different color and kind of random texture in there. Here, I should turn off a couple things. I blackened out right here. I blackened out his kind of suit. I don't know what he's wearing. It's not super important. So let's just make it dark, right? And from there, with a normal brush, I painted in just some rough strokes to kind of show that kind of rim light coming in there. Again, you know, this is not the prettiest, perfect painting I've ever done, but you know, it's only about maybe an hour and 45 minutes at most, and it's just getting this idea across of what we can do. And if we could refine all these strokes if we wanted to, but we don't have to. Especially for this, I should be giving you an idea of what's going on. I did on a multiply layer. I did some veins just to kind of give that idea that, like, oh, you know what, he's got some veins. He looks kind of freaky, right? Multiply layer again for some age spots, make them seem old. And then here I did. You can kind of see the effect. If I turn it normal. This would be at 100%. I just put this kind of concrete or stamp kind of brush, and it just kind of helps to give a little texture on there, makes things feel a little different, a little more painterly, hopefully. Screen layer. Now, screen layer. This is the way this works is this gives a little bit of a lighting, and I always use screen layers for lighting. What I do is I create a screen layer with the brush. I grab an airbrush, and I pump up the I'll pick, like, say here. You always want to have the saturation pretty high, and you just go in and kind of lightly brush in. That's more than we need, but it's really as simple as that. High saturation, very bright, put it on a screen layer, lightly brush it in. That's how you get your lighting effects, or at least I do. So I've got that lighting effect there. I do the same thing with a screen layer over here that gets kind of on his face, lightening up there. You can hopefully see that. I've got another one. This time an overlay layer where I've just used an airbrush and kind of darkened in the sides there to get more of that rounded form and into the shadows. And I've done another one where that's just actually my signature. Oops. Just drew in my signature right there. And last but not least, I kind of drew in it, painted a little more on his nose right there. That's about all you really need to do for the painting. Now, I will show you a couple little things if you want to do. If you press Command Option Shift E, that will create a new layer of everything that's beneath it. So it's a layer of just what we have here. And if you want to kind of sharpen your image, make it a little tighter, maybe see some of the brush strokes a little bit more. This is kind of not intuitive, but you go to Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what you do. And that'll give you a little bit more of a sharper image. You kind of see that effect. Turn off before, after, before, after. You do something like that. This gives a little extra to it. Maybe you don't want it that tight. Maybe you do. You drop it a little bit, the opacity, whatever. Give it a little feel. You just do what you want. And one last thing you can do too with these is if you're interested, maybe you put on the color balance and you decide, you know, I don't know if I like this color. I want to see what other things I can do. Well, you can shift your paintings more into the red, the orange. Just kind of get a sepia color here. You can shift, play with the magenta. See greens. Who knows? You play with it. You see where you want to go with this thing. You go very much into the blues here. There's a lot of possibilities. You just play with it, and you don't have to use it. It's just an adjustment layer. But maybe you like that. Maybe you want to have just a little bit of it, but not the whole thing, so you drop the opacity and you get just tinge of that feeling in there. There you go, that's good enough. As you drop more, you don't even have to use it. But it's something you can use if you want, you know. Go up 100%, that's great. You can even pick areas, right, where you might say, go Command-I, and go, hey, I'd kind of like to just pump up the blue here. That's where I want a little bit there. And you can see not hardly noticeable, but that's something that you could do, right? You can disable this layer mask. And I'm going to just go back down to around here. I thought get maybe a little, I kind of liked a little of that I got in there. Anyway, that's about it, guys. Hopefully this one, fingers crossed, hopefully it will work and I can get this out to you in the next little bit after I convert it and get it uploaded. So I hope this has helped you guys and give you a little idea of my painting process and, you know, how you can get stuff done relatively fast the more comfortable you get with your art. So, great guys. Hope it helps. Take care. We'll talk to you later.